What I want to do now is take you through the basic setup of the laser engraver. First of all, we need to turn it on, and that's found on the left side in the back. There's a big flipper switch that you just need to turn on. You'll hear the fans turn on, and those will run the entire time just simply to keep the laser tube cool. The laser is found way in the back, and it shoots the beam this way to the side. It's reflected once, twice, and then third time it reflects down. So we also need to clean the lenses, which I'll get to later. But when you turn it on, it'll have a boot up phase, and you're waiting for enough time for it to say job, which means it's waiting for its next job. But I want to zoom in now and tell you what all of these buttons mean and the ones that we use to set it up. Here are what the buttons do. Now I'm going to need to open up the lid, which just kind of hangs back, and we use most of these, not all. We have our simple go, stop, reset, which we will use a number of times. This one right here is a laser pointer, similar to what you'd buy in a store. Just a laser pointer. It's for lining it up on the XY axis. And then XY off and so forth. We use these buttons to set the Z axis, so that's up and down. Z is up and down. Here and here is just raising the table up and down. I can lower the table up and down with these. Once the XY is off, trash a file, save a file, so forth and so on. So here is what you do to set up the actual head. Here's a drawer front for the nightstand, and we're going to get this set up. So the XY00, the home position, is always in the back left corner, right there. So we take whatever piece we have and put it against this, and it actually bumps into this. But there's no bump here. We have to just stop. I can put this too far back and it's now covering this ruler. We don't want to do that. You want to keep it in front. So I actually need to put my head over top and line it up by my eye right there. But it is this way and lined up with the edge of the ruler that way. Okay, so that at least is positioned right. Now we have to move this head so it's lined up exactly in the 0-0 axis. Now, I can't move this by hand. I mean, I could force it, but that would break the machine. We have to turn off whatever's grabbing it, the motors that are keeping it in place. You do that by pressing XY off. And it says XY off, question mark, go, stop. Go, that means do it. So I hit go, and now I can move this whole head, and now it stays, so no problem. So this part right here is just held on with a magnet, okay? There's two little nubs right there, and it just sits there as it's laser engraving. But this is used to line it up vertically, so I have to flip it over and put it on those two nubs. As you can see, this is way too high. So all I have to do is press and hold down, and that will lower the table. Now I'm going to line this up, put it on those, make sure it's flat on those two nubs, and you lower it down, and now there's a gap between them. So you put your head down here and raise it one click at a time. Just press, press, press until that metal, there we go, just touches the wood. Okay, you don't want it lower than that, you want it higher than that. That's the distance it has to be. And then we just pull it off and put it back on. It's held on with magnets right there. Okay, and it just stays on there the whole time. So now we have our X and Y axes almost lined up. The Z is done. Now we have to do XY. So what I do, there's a laser pointer in the middle that shows me where it's going to engrave, and that's right here, pointer. Now that laser, of course, is not going to burn you. That's a laser pointer you buy at a store, but I have to push this back into place, and the idea is I want the laser beam to be at the very, very corner of whatever I'm engraving. Now if I set XY here, anything else I put in that area is already set for 0-0. It's ready. We just have to change the Z, because if it has a different thickness, that has to change. But typically, if you're going to reset Z, you do all three of them, just do it over again. So I look down and I can just barely see the laser on the very corner. It's right there. And I hit set home. That's telling me I need to set it right there. And now it won't move. XYZ is now set and we're ready to go. Now I can shut this. And now we're just going to wait for a file to be sent over, and I can hit go.